Most residents of Arlington know that their county was the first in Virginia to desegregate its public schools. Few, however, know the story of the brave students who faced the legal system and desegregated Stratford Junior High. Their names were Michael Jones, Gloria Thompson, Lance Newman, and Ronald Deskins.
Prior to the Brown ruling, African American parents challenged segregation with Carter v. School Board of Arlington. Though it wasn't successful, the process of attempting enrollment vindicated the county's Black community. After the Brown v. Board of Education ruling, the elected Arlington School Board attempted a limited desegregation. It was swiftly replaced with an appointed segregationist school board. 2 years after Brown, with no desegregation in sight, the NAACP filed for desegregation in the first Thompson v. School Board of Arlington case and won. Many African American students from Arlington applied to attend segregated white schools, but in response were denied by segregationist state pupil placement boards established by Virginia in an attempt to avoid or delay the process of integration. In 1957, the NAACP responded with a final Thompson v. School Board of Arlington, and of 30 students who applied and were rejected by the board, the court overruled 4 rejections, those being the 4 students that first desegregated Stratford Junior High.
These 4 had aimed to join the school in the fall of 1958, but by the end of the court proceedings it was already September, so the courts decided to admit the students for the spring semester. Just 7 days before they would enter the school, the governor held an emergency meeting and the General Assembly voted to repeal massive resistance laws that would have shut down Stratford. Arlington was unique as it had both black and white support against the closure of schools.
Unlike down in Farmville, Virginia, where they closed the schools, the parents here, the white parents didn't want the schools closed here. And so they did what they could to work with the black parents to keep the schools open, even if they had to integrate. They didn't want to have to send their kids to private schools.
That first week, Arlington County had about 100 police that patrolled the grounds of Stratford to make sure, I guess, there wouldn't be any incidents. And they came in to check on us.
Michael Jones mentioned that their uneventful entrance may have been due to the publicity.
And we did probably be on the news. Of course, we didn't have CNN and all that back then, but it was national news. So.
Teachers at Stratford were very friendly to the new students, and save for petty name-calling, the students were for the most part accepting of their peers.
The NAACP's training of the students also contributed to these first days.
In an interview from 2016, Lance Newman stated,
"The community leaders, Ms. Ham, Ms. Consley, Ms. Deskins, and all the others, in conjunction with the NAACP and all, the whole organizations, did a lot of preparation, stuff about how to act, how to dress."
And then when we got to the lunchroom, those kids are eating with their hands and everything else. It's like, it's like a regular place at McDonald's. I said, hey, now here we are eating all properly like we're in a dinner setting. And they're just eating everything, students, just big students.
Although the Arlington schools integrated with very little resistance, there were other ways they kept the students segregated. In order to prevent black and white students from associating too closely, many school-sponsored events such as dances and sports teams were shut down for 2 years after integration.
Some schools in the district remained segregated until 1969, including 2 black elementary schools, Drew and Hoffman Boston. The community began efforts alongside the NAACP to have their students moved into desegregated schools. Despite minor school board resistance, when a group of parents filed a class action lawsuit, they could hold out no longer. The students were divided among other schools in the district, finally completing the desegregation of Arlington Public Schools.
So all in all, I can say it was nothing like Little Rock or, places to the south. But I can say my experiences there were, on the whole, we're fairly good.
It may have been a little bit different for us because we were kind of, the spotlight on us, rather than, I think it may have been a little more difficult as the years go on.
Future generations who went through the process of integration also received support from their community to prepare them for the process. These students still faced very little blatant racism or threats of violence, however, as the teachers were very supportive of them and did their best to defend them and make them feel safe at school. While most extracurriculars were open to any race and all students were treated fairly, there were still some examples of underhanded discrimination in certain groups.
There was a very good friend of mine. She auditioned for The Wizard of Oz at Reed, and she did not get the part, but what they asked her to do was to sing everything that Judy Garland sang all of her songs. So when the young lady who was a white girl, when she was on stage acting and it came to a point where it was time for her to sing, she would turn her back to the audience and look up at the sky, and my girlfriend would sing the song.
The Arlington cases shaped how schools are run today and were a large step forward in the desegregation of Virginia public schools. The progress made by the community in Halls Hill and the brave students ensured integrated education for all students today.